We open on Ash and Go heading to the Tower of Mastery. After their battle with Mewtwo in the last episode, the two wanted to find a way to get stronger. With Ash believing the best way for him to improve is by using the power of his bond with his Pokemon, he decided to take up Karina's offer to learn Mega Evolution. Go also wanted to see more of Mega Evolution in order to see how it relates to Dynamax and Gigantamax. So with that, here they are. Immediately, they're greeted by Karina and her Lucario. Ash sends out his own Lucario to show the progress they've made. Karina is glad to see the little Riolu now as a strong Lucario. She does, however, tell Ash she needs to train more alongside Lucario before they can even attempt to use Mega Evolution. She and Ash both remember what it was like when she tried to Mega Evolve her Lucario for the first time, and Mega Evolution was certainly the test of her and Lucario's bond. Luckily, though, Karina has the perfect place to train, and get the Lucario Knight he needs. Before she explains anything, though, they move to the top of the Tower of Mastery. Karina hands Ash a pair of Mega Gloves, similar to the ones she wears, only black and red in color. She tells Ash that her grandfather found the keystone embedded into it not too long ago. Ash thanks her for the gift before Go asks where they're going to get the Megastone. Karina tells the two about a place only recently discovered, just a little ways off the coast of Shalor City. It's an island with very diverse geography that is rumored to be filled with Megastones, and all the Pokemon there are only ones capable of Mega Evolving. Ash and Go both like the sound of the island, and so they are very excited to go. Before they get to the boat they'll be taking, Karina does mention they have another trainer who will be joining them, as he had been studying under her grandfather for the past few days, wanting to learn how to use Mega Evolution himself. Ash and Go are curious as to who the person could be, but it isn't long before they see it's actually Rinto. Ash quickly goes up to Rinto to see how he's been doing, to which Rinto explains he's been hard at work training. Ash notices that his Rotom phone hasn't gone off to indicate he's run into someone in the same class as him in the World Championships. That's when Rinto pulls out his Rotom phone and reveals his rank is actually 87, making him a member of the Ultra class. Ash and Go both congratulate him, saying that it's amazing he's already gotten so far since the last time they saw each other. Rinto smiles, saying he's had to face many strong trainers, which made him realize he needed to master things like Mega Evolution in order to stand a chance from now on. After all, the members of the Masters 8 were all capable of using things like Mega Evolution and Dynamax, so he needed to be ready with some of his own. So with that, they're off to Mega Island. On the way, they notice that the farther they get from Shalor, the more powerful the Pokemon seem to be. The Tentacool and Mantike in the water are soon replaced with Gyarados and Sharpedo. They notice Pokemon like Pidgeot and Altaria in the sky. For a moment, they even believe they see a Salamence. Then they get to the island, seeing exactly what Karina meant by it being an island with a very diverse geography. They can see multiple forests, mountains, and even a volcano all on this one large island. It's certainly a sight to behold. As they dock, Karina tells them that the best thing for them to do in the case of training would be to constantly have out Pokemon that they'll be planning to Mega Evolve. Ash and Rinto nod, bringing out Lucario and Gallade. The first thing they decide to do is try to find a Galadite for Rinto and his partner Pokemon. So with that, they begin exploring the island. As they walk, they see all sorts of Pokemon. Heracross, Pinsir, Lopunny, all strong Pokemon that are capable of Mega Evolving. Then they get to a clearing. The mountain they saw on their way in is not too far away, and the area around them is very rocky. That's when they see a Charizard slam down into the ground, as a Steelix attempts to hit it with a Stone Edge. Ash recognizes the Charizard as he sees the metal neck armor it wears. However, before any of them can do anything, Someone calls out to Charizard, telling it to use Flare Blitz. Charizard nods before it's enveloped in flame, and rockets towards the Steelix, striking it across the jaw. The trainer this Charizard belongs to makes himself known, and sure enough, it's Ash's Kalos League rival himself, Alon. Alon calls for Charizard to wrap things up with a Dragon Claw, which Charizard does, striking the Steelix down, and ending the battle. Ash goes up to Alon and the two reunite, saying it's been some time since they last saw each other. Alon asks how Ash's Greninja is doing, to which Ash has to tell him he and Greninja are currently not traveling together, as Greninja is working alongside Zygarde to protect Kalos. Alon says that's a shame, as he's been looking forward to battling Greninja again. Go comes up, asking who Alon is, to which Ash mentions Alon is a strong trainer who he fought in the finals of the Kalos League. Alon also mentions he also works as an assistant of Professor Sycamore. Go remembers that Sycamore mentioned having a strong assistant, who he wanted to send with them when they went to Pokemon Village, but unfortunately, that person was out training. Alon says that Sycamore was probably referring to him. Karina cuts in, mentioning that Alon was actually the one who discovered Mega Island, and was the first to locate a Megastone, which Alon chose to be the Megastone equipped to his Charizard. Ash is really happy to see Alon did what he had hoped to do the last time they had met, and got himself a new Megastone. Alon asks what they're all doing here, to which Ash explains he and Rinto are looking to gain access to Mega Evolution themselves. Alon looks at the two of them, noticing they both have Keystones already. He smiles, saying he hopes they find what they're looking for, as he and Marin were able to find a Charizardite X for his Charizard to use. Almost on cue, Marin walks out of the forest, covered in twigs and looking exhausted. Marin joins the group, telling Alon she unfortunately lost the Ampharos she was trying to catch. Alon introduces Marin to the group and explains that after they found Charizard's Megastone, Marin had gotten really interested in getting stronger and gaining Mega Evolution for herself. Marin mentioned she saw Alon battling all sorts of strong trainers and Pokemon as of late, and realized she couldn't fall behind. However, so far she hadn't been getting too much stronger. Go is curious about Marin's Pokemon, and the two actually get to talking themselves. This is when Rinto steps up and asks Alon for a battle, in order to test himself against such a strong trainer like the winner of the Kalos League Conference. Alon accepts the challenge, but actually asks for Ash to team up with Rinto. Alon wants to battle Ash again, and is curious to see how strong Lucario is. Ash would also like to battle Alon again, and with that, they get ready. The battle, strangely enough, is a 2-on-1, with Ash and Rinto using Lucario and Gallade respectively. Meanwhile, Alon, of course, uses Charizard. Go makes a comment that it feels like Alon's going to be at a disadvantage, even if his Charizard has the type advantage against the two fighting types. Marin shakes her head, saying that Alon is only wanting to test himself. She's never seen him take on two trainers at once, and given the fact one is Ash, the Kalos League runner-up, she thinks Alon might actually have a bit of a challenge on his hands. The battle starts and Rinto calls for Gallade to use Rock Slide. Rocks form in the sky and begin to fall down on Charizard. However, Alon's Charizard is easily able to dodge and use Dragon Claw to destroy the rocks before they can even make a scratch. Rinto, thinking he's distracted Charizard, has Gallade go for a Psycho Cut, while Ash and Lucario try and get in close with a Force Palm. Alon's Charizard notices both attacks coming its way, and uses its powerful wings to fly and evade both. Then, with Lucario in close range, Charizard strikes with a powerful Flare Blitz, which sends Lucario straight down into the ground. Lucario is barely standing, and it's also been burnt by the Fire-type attack. However, Lucario doesn't want to give up. However, before it can act, Gallade rushes in with a close combat, only for Charizard to fly out of the way and counter with a Thunder Punch. However, with Charizard in close and less likely to be able to avoid, Rinto calls for another Rock Slide, which hits hard. With that, Gallade then manages to hit with a Psycho Cut that actually pushes Charizard back. Alon calls for a Dragon Claw, only for the Fire Starter to be met with an Aura Sphere from Lucario. Charizard is starting to be pushed back again now, with Lucario managing to use Double Team to get in close and hit a Force Palm that paralyzes Charizard. However, just as Lucario and Gallade are about to attack again, Alon activates his Mega Ring, and Charizard Mega Evolves into Mega Charizard X. Just as Gallade gets in close for a close combat, Mega Charizard X blows Gallade back with a Dragon Claw, sending it flying straight into Lucario. Alon decides to wrap things up there, and with a single Blast Burn, Lucario and Gallade are knocked out. Ash and Rinto both take this a little differently. Ash chuckles, saying he was so close to winning, but admits that Alon is just as strong as ever. Rinto, on the other hand, starts analyzing the battle, trying to see what he could do better. Karina then steps up, congratulating them on a hard-fought battle. Go and Marin are also pretty impressed, with Go even going up and asking Alon a few things about his Charizard and Mega Evolution. Alon and Go actually get to talking quite a bit. Go asks what all Alon knows about Mega Evolution, as he wants to know more and compare it with Dynamax. Alon simply says he knows Mega Evolution doesn't have a time limit, and is only achievable due to a strong bond between trainer and Pokemon. Dynamax seems possible so long as you have a Dynamax band, or at the very least there's a power spot. Alon says that many would probably think Mega Evolution is superior by default, yet he's not too sure. Go comments on the knowledge Alon already has to Dynamax. Alon explains that there's a certain trainer with a Charizard that he's been wanting to battle. That person uses Gigantamax, and so despite all these things about Dynamax and Gigantamax that would make it seem less powerful, Alon still feels like he would lose if they were to ever face off. It doesn't take long for Go to figure out who Alon is talking about. Of course, that being the current world champion, Leon. Go mentions Ash wants to battle Leon as well, which Alon really isn't surprised by. When Ash overhears this, he asks if that means Alon is in the World Championships, which Alon confirms to be true, pulling out his Rotom phone to show he's currently ranked 35th in the Ultra class. Ash points out that Rinto is in the Ultra class as well, before asking why their Rotom phones didn't go off to indicate there were two participants in the same class near each other. Rinto explains it's because all battles in the Ultra class are scheduled, rather than happening due to you running into each other by pure chance. Go likes the sound of that, saying that makes them more of an event in the end, which he's not wrong about. The group refocuses themselves on locating the Megastones. Karina and Alon both believe that it'll take the combined use of all Ash and Rinto can do with their Pokemon. The two think for a moment, and both come to a similar conclusion. Ash and Rinto both have their Pokemon attempt to sense for the stones, Lucario using Aura and Gallade using its psychic abilities. Gallade is the first to find something, and so Rinto and Gallade are off. Not too long after, Lucario finds something, but it doesn't seem to be the stone. However, it's in the opposite direction. Lucario doesn't waste any time though, as the Aura Pokemon runs off in the direction of what it's sensing. Ash follows, with Go not being too far behind. Karina and Alon both look between each other before they decide to split up as well, Alon and Marin joining Ash, while Karina goes with Rinto. Getting farther out on the island, Ash soon finds out what Lucario was sensing. It wasn't the stone, but rather something much more dire. A Swampert and a Blastoise were fighting over territory. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, but Ash noticed that Swampert was also fighting to protect a small grouping of eggs. Ash and Alon act together, Charizard combating the Blastoise immediately, while Lucario and Ash both go to help Swampert. The Blastoise Hydro Pumps Charizard away, but Lucario flies in with an Aura Sphere, which gets the turtle Pokemon's attention. Blastoise fires another Hydro Pump, only for Lucario to deflect it away. Unfortunately, this deflection hits the top of the small cave the eggs were within. The cave ceiling begins to break up, and the duo of Ash and Lucario immediately leap onto the eggs to defend them from falling debris. Finally, Swampert and Alon's Charizard are able to get Blastoise to leave, with a combination of Blast Burn and Avalanche. Ash and Lucario check to make sure the eggs are okay, only for them to all begin hatching. Most of the baby Mudkip immediately see their mother Swampert, but one particularly close to Lucario sees it first, although Lucario doesn't seem to notice that. The group makes sure the family of Mudkip are okay before they head off. However, the Mudkip that saw Lucario first starts following them. Lucario keeps attempting to sense the Megastone, but it's very difficult as there's multiple sensory inputs going on all at once. Lucario tries to focus like it managed to with Swampert and his family, but it's a struggle. That's when Ash tries to use Aura along with Lucario. Alon actually finds this pretty surprising, and Go explains that Lucario and Ash seem to have a very strong bond, one unlike any other he's seen. To Alon, this sounds very familiar to him, yet it's not the phenomenon he's thinking of. Ash and Lucario's combined aura eventually helps them get a read on something. It feels very familiar to Lucario's aura, and so the two head off to it. When they finally reach the location, they find themselves around an area with tall metal spikes protruding through the ground. In the center of this land is a massive spike that contains a strange glow to it. Ash and Lucario know this must be what they're looking for, and so Lucario goes for an Aura Sphere to break it. However, just then, a powerful Focus Blast blocks the oncoming attack. Ash and Alon look around, attempting to see where the attack came from, only to see an old man walking up alongside his Alakazam. The man explains himself to be the Mega Evolution Sage, keeper of the Megastones on this island. He tells them that what they found is indeed Lucarionite, but if they want it, they'll have to beat him and Alakazam first. Alon is about to ready Charizard for battle, but Ash stops him, saying this battle is a trial for only him and Lucario. They're the ones who want to Mega Evolve using the Lucarionite. It should only be them who take on the Mega Evolution Sage. With that, Ash calls for Lucario to attack with Force Palm. The battle is fierce, with the Mega Evolution Sage having Mega Evolved his Alakazam not too long after it had just begun. It has a powerful combination of Psychic, Tri-Attack, Focus Blast, and just to keep it in the battle, Recover. Lucario and Ash try everything they can, but the Sage is stronger than they could have imagined. Ash tries all sorts of tactics, using Double Team in attempts to confuse his opponent, as well as using the metallic terrain to his advantage, but nothing seems to be working. No matter what, Alakazam seems to know exactly where Lucario is and will be at all times. Like there was something about Lucario that Alakazam could track. That's when the Sage explains a key part of this place's significance. It's a very rare occurrence for metal spikes like these to form, but there usually isn't enough naturally occurring metal outside of caves for them to form. Because of this, it's rumored when they do form, Steel types resonate with them. Steel types like Lucario. Off of this one revelation, Ash devises a new plan. He calls for Double Team while also having Lucario, a blue aura surrounding it, disappear behind the spikes. The sage attempts to counter this by using Psychic to break the spikes. When some of the spikes break, the metallic debris hits each of the clones, destroying them. Yet the real Lucario isn't behind any of the destroyed spikes. Suddenly, Ash calls for Force Palm, and out of nowhere, Lucario appears, a shard from the metal spikes clenched in its paws. With a glowing aura, it fires off Force Palm, launching the shard at high speeds, almost like a projectile which strikes the head of Mega Alakazam. Lucario then leaps back, tossing another shard from one paw to the other, revealing a total of 2 currently clutched in each. The Mega Evolution Sage is impressed, asking how Ash came up with such a plan. Ash says he realized that Alakazam was using Lucario's aura to follow its movements, so he had Lucario expel its aura through an aura sphere while it went past the spikes. This entire time, the real Lucario was hiding in a nearby tree. Then, when Alakazam broke some of the spikes, Lucario grabbed a few shards that remained. Ash tells the sage that he hasn't trained Lucario to use any steel moves, but he knew now this place was meant for steel types, so to utilize that part of Lucario, he had Lucario grab them to use in battle. Alon finds this very surprising, as Ash never truly told Lucario to do any of these things. How could Lucario know what to do when Ash never verbally told it to? That's when he gets a thought. The bond of these two, that which feels eerily familiar. Could it be that they knew what the other wants without speaking? Alon smiles, knowing Ash is one of the 2 trainers he's met that can do as such. If he was going to have to compete with them, he and Charizard would have to grow much closer in bond. Ash tells Lucario to rush in. The sage prepares to get ready for Alakazam to be hit with another Force Palm, but then he sees Lucario's paws begin to glow. Ash's eyes widen for a moment, but then he smiles, already knowing what this is. As Lucario gets close, Ash calls for Bullet Punch. Blow after blow is struck as Lucario uses his brand new move. Alakazam can barely take these physical hits, and so after that, it falls, reverting from its Mega Evolved form. Sage smiles before gesturing to the spike containing the Mega Stone, saying that Ash has earned the right to claim it as his own. Ash and Lucario take a step to the metal spike containing the stone. Lucario puts a paw on the metal spike, looking at Ash. He smiles, placing his hand on it. With a pulse of aura, the spike shatters, revealing the stone within. It drops down, but just before Lucario can catch it, a Mudkip comes running in, tackling Lucario to the ground. Luckily, Ash is able to catch the Mega Stone, but both he and Alon do find it strange that this Mudkip has come up to Lucario. Not to mention that it seems to really like Lucario. Alon mentions that this Mudkip was probably one that hatched in the group of eggs they protected. That's when Ash suggests that maybe it saw Lucario before its own mother. They decide it's best to return it to its home, and Ash quickly goes to thank the sage. However, strangely, the sage is already gone. Confused, Ash and Alon then try to take Mudkip back to its mother. Swampert even welcomes the child with open arms, but despite this, Mudkip wants to stay close to Lucario. It then begins to jump around, mimicking some of the jumping moves that Lucario did. Ash chuckles, saying it seems Lucario has an admirer. Lucario, surprised, decides to start play fighting with Mudkip. Mudkip tries attacking Lucario a few times, but every time Lucario just shrugs off the blow like it was nothing. Ash watches the two happily, and comments Lucario is acting like Scyther would with it back when Lucario was just a Riolu. Lucario looks a little surprised, thinking about Scyther and its time as a Riolu. Lucario looks to Mudkip, who happily stares back. Getting serious, Lucario begins to coach Mudkip and the two begin to spar a little more seriously. While watching this, Alon makes note of all he witnesses. Ash certainly is unlike any trainer he's ever met, that's for sure. Ash hasn't really changed much since they last saw each other, and yet somehow Ash feels different. It's in this moment Alon suggests Ash should catch Mudkip. If Lucario and Mudkip get along so well already, and Mudkip even went as far to follow them just to see Lucario, then surely Mudkip would want to stay with Lucario and grow stronger. Ash nods, but first he approaches the mother Swampert, asking if she's alright with her child comes along with him. Swampert looks to Mudkip, seeing how happy her baby is, and gives Ash the okay. Ash smiles, thanking Swampert and promises to take good care of Mudkip, while also coming back to visit them so she could see her child still. He turns to Mudkip, asking it if it would like to join him in Lucario. Mudkip looks to Lucario, as well as to its mother Swampert. Mudkip runs over to Swampert, giving a loving hug goodbye, before jumping over to Lucario. Lucario says something to Swampert, picking Mudkip up off the ground. Alon asks what Lucario could be saying, to which Ash says Lucario promised to protect Mudkip and make her proud. With that, Ash adds another Pokemon to his team, bringing his rotation to 8. Soon, everyone's reunited. Rinto reveals that he did indeed find his Gallade and even beat Karina in a practice battle to test his strength. Ash shows off his Lucario Knight, as well as his new Mudkip friend, to which Rinto is really impressed, being a Hoenn trainer himself. Ash asks Rinto if he'd like to battle and test out their Mega Evolutions, and Rinto agrees. However, he asks Ash to have Scyther watch the battle, as Gallade wants to show Scyther just how strong he's become. Ash agrees to, and calls out Scyther. With everyone watching, the battle begins. Lucario and Gallade clash without Mega Evolving at first. Rinto is impressed to see Lucario's new Bullet Punch, and it does give Gallade some difficulty. However, once Gallade Mega Evolves, the tables turn. Close Combat and Psycho Cut blow Lucario away, but Ash isn't done. He Mega Evolves Lucario for the first time, and soon, the two are on even footing once again. Lucario's Aura Spheres become quite a bit bigger in this state, and therefore a lot more powerful. The two continue clashing for a long time, neither giving in to the other. Ash finally decided to wrap things up, having Lucario use Double Team before firing an Aura Sphere. The Aura Spheres from each Double Team converge into a massive attack, and in that moment, Rinto calls for one last move. Destiny Bond. Gallade links itself to Lucario, just as the Aura Sphere hits, and the two are knocked out simultaneously. The battle is over, resulting in a draw. Ash and Rinto shake hands, knowing this won't be the end of their rivalry. Scyther watches on. Lucario has gotten stronger, as has Gallade. Both have already surpassed it. Scyther seems happy that Lucario is so strong, but at the same time, Scyther is a little annoyed. Alon notices this and goes up to Scyther. Alon tells it that if it doesn't like getting left behind, that it needs to make sure to train. Scyther nods, before looking over to Lucario, who's being congratulated by the newest member in Mudkip. It reminds Scyther of itself with Lucario and Darmanitan. With this, Scyther makes a vow to itself to get stronger, before everyone gets back on the boat. On the boat, the group talks about what they'll do next. Alon and Marin plan to return to Sycamore's lab for a while. However, it won't be long before Alon's next Ultra Class match, one against none other than Seabolt of the Kalos Elite Four. Rento notes that he intends to stay in Kalos a while longer, to also meet an Elite Four member. If he wants to get stronger, he's going to have to train, and he heard that Wickstrom was taking disciples. When asked why Wickstrom specifically, Rento explains Wickstrom specializes in the same type as Hoen's champion, Steven Stone. Steven was currently ranked 3rd strongest in the world, and he wanted to work his way up to him. Ash and Go are next, and neither are really sure where to go at the moment. So they decide they'll just have to head back to Professor Cerise's lab. With that, they return to the Tower of Mastery before they all part ways. Once Ash and Go are back at Cerise's lab, they spend some time away from traveling for a bit. Ash focuses on training all the members of his team for a while. With Lucario having achieved Mega Evolution and Darmanitan fully evolved, he was fired up to get everyone else stronger. In particular, through this training, he noticed Scyther and Mudkip giving it their all, which made him really proud. Unfortunately, Gengar seemed to be falling behind everyone. Go, on the other hand, spent a lot of his time catching Pokemon and researching them. Once again, to say every single Pokemon that he's caught by now, it would take a long time. However, this entire time he's been thinking about what Mewtwo said. Ash has already found one way to get stronger through what Mewtwo said, but what was he supposed to do? He was told following his dreams would lead him to grow as a trainer, but he was also told he needed to train his Pokemon and become stronger. He needed stronger Pokemon to catch stronger Pokemon. But what was he supposed to do to train? That's when Ash gets a call. It's from Bea, and she's secured 4 tickets to the Isle of Armor. It's finally time for Ash and Gengar to train in order to gain the abilities Gigantamax. Go also thinks maybe he can gain something from this. As for the final ticket, Ash and Go ask Chloe to come along, to which Chloe agrees, as her school is going on holiday for a little while. She's also very interested in seeing a part of the Galar region, as she's never really been outside of Kanto other than their recent trip to Unova. Cerise also says it's a good idea for her to gain experience of other regions and see what they have to offer. So with that, they're off to Galar. They arrive in Modestoke and decide in order to meet up with Bea, they need to take a train to Stow-on-Side. While they're at the station, a boy in purple walks by, accidentally bumping into Chloe and dropping his ticket. Chloe picks it up, and the group decides they need to return it to him. They follow him into a darkly lit tunnel, where the boy boards a train. Chloe and Go both stop, uncertain as to whether following him is a good idea. But Ash rashly jumps onto the train, saying they'll just have to be quick. With a sigh, Chloe and Go board the train as well. The boy isn't in the same train car as them, but before they can make a decision where they should search first, the doors close, and the train begins to move. Chloe gets really concerned, but soon the intercom comes on, saying the next stop is Stow-on-Side. So, although somewhat spooky, they'll at least ultimately get to their destination. This is where the events of the Spectral Express takes place, and this will remain the same, just with Chloe around. The PA system will refer to the train as the Ghost Train, which definitely creeps Chloe and Go out. However, they know they have to find the boy, and after looking at his ticket, head through the train to coach number 1. They soon come to a train car that seems to be very fancy. There's a stone on a pedestal that, as they walk by, falls off. Ash catches it, however, a green spiritual orb enters Ash, possessing him. Through the next few cars, they meet many other ghost types, with the possessed Ash scaring the duo occasionally. After a run-in with some Ninkata, possessed Ash tries to attack the two again. The Ninkata evolve into Ninjask and fly away, just as Chloe and Go manage to restrain Ash. Go also strangely gets a Shedinja out of this. At that moment, the boy they were trying to find enters the car. This is Alistair, a ghost-type specialist who helps rescue Ash from the possession using his Synesty. The terrible T forces the spirit out, which disappears into the shadows. Ash thanks him, but soon they hear a terrifying sound, which is soon revealed to be Spiritomb. They get to Spiritomb, and Alistair reveals that one of the spirits is gone, and now Spiritomb is going wild. Ash calls out Gengar to retrieve the missing spirit. Meanwhile, both Go and Chloe bring out their Pokemon in order to distract Spiritomb. In the end, it's thanks to Eevee kicking up some debris Gengar sneaks into that allows Gengar to get in close and put the spirit back inside Spiritomb. The day is saved, and the train gets to Stow-on side. The trio get off, taking in the town around them. They're about to say goodbye to Alistair, but they find Alistair and the ghost train have both disappeared, as if they were never there to begin with. This freaks out Chloe, but before anything else can be done, Bee approaches them. They all greet Bee, who actually talks to Chloe for a bit. The two actually seem to hit it off pretty well before they all board another train. This train takes them to a Corviknight taxi station. They board the taxi and are soon soaring over the ocean. Inside, Ash asks who they're supposed to be meeting up with. Bee smiles, explaining that a powerful trainer has made his home on the island. He runs a dojo that many trainers have trained at. Even Leon at one time trained there. Chloe and Go both want to know more, so Bee informs them that the man was at one time the undefeated champion of Galar. A man by the name of Mustard. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what did you guys think? Are you excited about Ash now having Mega Evolution and a brand new Pokemon in Mudkip? How do you think Ash's training with Mustard is going to go? And what do you think Go will do in order to get stronger? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you all in the next part, as we begin Season 2 of my Pokemon Journeys rewrite. Bye!